G'day, Jono Break here from The Forge Leader with Monday Myth Check. Monday Myth Check is where we stop and we look at common held beliefs, sayings that are just thrown around out there, things that we do, ways that we motivate, that maybe if we really hold them up to the light, they're not as true as we thought they were. And today I'm going to tackle the idea that leaders are born and not made. Obviously as a myth, we're going to flip that one on its head, because I do not believe leaders are born. I do believe they're made. Can people be born into opportunity? Can people be born to parents or a community or whatever that raises them up as leaders? 100% they can. But that builds into their own sense of self and how they carry themselves and what their behavioral styles are, what their emotional intelligence is. So when they come to us, they may seem like they're more confident, they have better leaders. So we say they're born leaders. We must never believe that leaders are just born. We must always believe that leaders are made. So I'm going to look at three things I think that are really important to kind of reinforce this idea that leaders are made, they're not born. So the first one is that leadership skills can be developed. I mean, this is really obvious. We have leadership training, we have leadership development, we have coaches, we have mentors. We've got the Forge Mentor, for example, just a bit of a shameless plug there. And so there is this idea that we can grow and develop and learn skills, right? So leadership skills can be a little more challenging because really when we start to think about leadership principles, we're talking about human principles. So they start to challenge us a little bit personally. I've got a team all of a sudden that I'm leading and I'm finding it challenging to lead that team. Well, I'm the leader, so it's my fault. It's not their fault. Doesn't mean that they don't need to grow, but they'll grow because I grow, not because I tell them what to do and I tell them they have to grow. And so we've got to bring humility, we've got to bring some sense of understanding and purpose to that. And so all these skills can be developed. So skills like emotional intelligence, behavioral understandings, how we strategize, how do we prioritize our time, how do we know how to motivate, or how do we motivate ourselves? What are the things we need to do? And what's my purpose? All these things that we ask these questions around, and we look at those in a bit of a systematic way, we want to learn and develop those over time, and they feed into our leadership. The second one is that our experiences shape our leadership. Some of the greatest experiences I've been through have been some of the toughest, and they've grown me the most as a leader. And so we've got to understand that experiences, the teams we lead, maybe the people we've been led by. I was just talking about this with my daughter the other day. She's under some pretty bad leadership. And I said, well, at least you're learning all the things you shouldn't do as a leader. And she goes, okay. It doesn't make it any easier for her. But there's leaders that aren't so good. I had one leader that just said, oh, I'll just tell you when you're doing something wrong. That's how you'll know. When I was looking for encouragement. Terrible leadership. And so all these sorts of things is that experiences shape our leadership ability. And so experiences in business, experiences in life, the way we carry things, how we pick up on stuff, they shape the kind of leader that we are. And we need to think about what are some of those experiences and how those experiences influence our leadership. The third one that I kind of want to talk about that kind of points to the fact that leaders are made is that great leaders improve and adapt. And they do that over time. They're not trying to do everything at once. They're not trying to change 1,000 things today. They do it over time. They understand that leadership, as good human principles, are a lifelong journey, okay? And so there's these slow and deliberate steps. There's purpose, there's strategies to put in place. There's people we bring around us. There's the communication that we engage in. And then there's some processes we put in place around leadership. And you find those 5 things in our trail markers inside the Forge Mentor. And so this idea that great leaders adapt and grow over time, leaders are always looking to improve. I'm often asking the people I'm coaching, what are you reading right now? What are the things that are stretching you? What podcasts are you listening to? Who is it that's challenging you in their journey? And we've got so many resources for that. So leaders, great leaders, adapt and learn. And that points again to the fact that these guys, they're not born, they're made, okay? Because they've deliberately put themselves there. So what do we say about this? So yes, people tend to present either more confident, less confident. Maybe they come from a background where that's been infused into them, but their experiences, they're things that have happened to them. So it has made them as a leader. There's no doubt about that. So at the end of the day, that means that success as a leader is optional for you right now. Okay, so I want you to think about this as an action step. What's one thing or what's a few things you could think about in terms of areas where you feel like, okay, I'm not leading all that well, or maybe I'm leading overconfident. This is a bit of a vulnerability place. Maybe I'm going to be a bit overconfident in this leadership and I need to figure out where I'm going with this. What do I need to grow and learn in? Who do I need to communicate and connect with? Who do I need to be held accountable to? And then start to put that in place into your journey and see if you can just improve the way you do your leadership. This is Monday Myth Check. Leaders are not born, they're made. I'm John O'Brake. As always, enjoy the journey.